Chicago, 10 p.m. A mother clutches her kids outside a locked clinic while snow piles at their feet. One phone call from a stranger will decide whether they live or vanish into the icy night. Stay with me to see how a closed door becomes the key to a brand new life. The wind barreled off Lake Michigan like a runaway freight train, shaking the street lights along West Madison and rattling the plate glass windows of the shuttered storefronts. It was the kind of Chicago night that made even lifelong Midwesterners hurry home. But Cassandra Cassie Brown had nowhere to hurry to. She pulled her thrift store parka tighter and adjusted the faded baby blanket around 7-month-old Noah, whose weak whimper rose and fell against her chest. 10-year-old Lolly, tiny for her age yet brave beyond her years, clung to Cassie's coat sleeve. Snowflakes clung to the child's lashes like pale sequins. Ahead, the Riverstone Urgent Care Clinic glowed yellow and warm behind glass doors that refused to slide open unless someone swiped a valid insurance card. Cassie had tried her Medicaid card twice. Both times the kiosk flashed red coverage lapsed. Please contact administration. Lily's teeth tattered. Mama, my toes hurt. I know, baby, Cassie whispered, kissing the girl's forehead. We'll get inside any minute. She lied with the practiced gentleness of a woman who'd run out of truthful comfort months ago. Noah's whimpers sharpened into a cracked, desperate cry. His fever had raged all afternoon, and the damp chill was turning his skin the color of skim milk. Cassie bounced him, humming an off-key lullaby her own mother used to sing during southern Illinois thunderstorms. A security guard stepped outside, cigarette glowing like a coal in the dark. He eyed Cassie's trio with a mixture of suspicion and pity. Ma'am, you can't block the entrance. My baby's got 103 fever and my card isn't working. Could you just let us warm up while I call the state hotline? She pleaded. The guard shook his head. Corporate policy's tighter than my ex-wife's curlers. You need coverage on file or a credit card with $2,000. $2,000, she barely had $2. Cassie opened her mouth to beg harder. But the guard retreated, doors hissing shut behind him, sealing in the warmth and sealing out their hope. Lily pressed her face into Cassie's side. Mama, are we going to sleep out here? Of course not, Cassie said, voice raw, but her vision blurred, and she realized tears were freezing on her cheeks before they could fall. Across the narrow parking lot, a black Lincoln Town car eased to the curb. Its back door opened, and a tall, silver-haired man stepped into the swirl of snow, leaving the engine idling. He wore a charcoal overcoat and a scarf the color of burgundy wine. Arthur Griffin, Hago's self-made warehouse king-turned-philanthropist, had spent the evening at a benefit gala, nodding through speeches about innovation while his mind lingered on the empty condo waiting for him and the wife who died 2 winters earlier. A busted street light had forced his driver onto the side street, and Arthur was scrolling through emails when he spotted Cassie swaying under the clinic awning. He watched her kiss the feverish baby's head, watched the little girl stamp her feet to stay awake, and felt a tug behind his ribs that money had never been able to quiet. Pull over, he told his driver. Sir, we're almost to Lakeshore Park. Arthur crossed the snow-slick pavement, loafers sliding ungratefully. Excuse me, he called, voice polite but firm. Cassie turned, shoulders hunching instinctively, as if expecting scorn for loitering. Instead, she found kind gray eyes and a lined face wearing something close to worry. Is the clinic closed? He asked. They're open, Cassie answered, just not for people like us. He glanced at the doors, then back at the shivering children. Does the baby have a fever? 103 last I checked. Arthur didn't hesitate. He yanked off his leather gloves, pressed a warm palm to Noah's forehead, and inhaled sharply. That child needs fluids and heat, immediately. I know, Cassie whispered, shame cracking through her composure, but my Medicaid lapsed when my employer cut hours. I've been trying to get it reinstated, but everything's backed up. Anger prickled behind Arthur's collar, not at Cassie, but at a system he'd seen fail too many people. He waved a hand toward the clinic. Stay right here. She almost laughed. Where else would I go? But he strode inside. Every inch the corporate tightened. Within seconds, 2 administrators in scrubs followed him back out. Keyards flashing green, doors sliding wide. Heat billowed into the night. Arthur beckoned Cassie. Home, no, he said, tone that of a man used to being obeyed. Inside a treatment room, nurses wrapped Lily in blankets, inserted an IV into Noah's tiny arm, and checked Cassie's vitals even though she insisted she was fine. The warmth felt unreal, like stepping into a Technicolor movie. While Noah was stabilized, Arthur cornered the billing manager. Charge everything to Griffin Holding Group, he said. The manager's eyebrow shot up. They'll need follow-up care. Then you'll bill us for that too, and get that Medicaid file expedited. 2 hours later, Noah's fever had broken, Lily was sipping cocoa, and Cassie sat on the edge of a hospital cot, disbelief painted across her exhausted face. Arthur re-entered, coat dusted with melting snow. Vitals look steady, he reported, brandishing a printout like a proud grandparent. Cassie rose. I don't know how to thank you, Mr. Griffin, he supplied. Arthur. He extended a hand as if sealing a business deal. But when their palms met, Cassie's knees buckled in relief. She dropped onto the cot, shoulders shaking. Arthur took the chair beside her, respectfully giving space yet refusing to leave. Tell me what happens when you leave here, he said softly. I walk 3 blocks to the warming shelter. They turn us out at 7 a.m. Then I try to get to the diner by 8 or I lose my last shift. Where do the kids go? Lily sits at the corner library until school opens. A retired librarian keeps an eye on her. Noah. I bring him to work. They let me stash his stroller in the supply closet if the breakfast crowd is slow. Arthur's jaw set. That's not sustainable. Her eyes flashed defensively. It's what I've got. He nodded, acknowledging both her pride and her courage. After a moment, he said, I have a guest carriage house behind my place in Hyde Park. 2 bedrooms, kitchen, washer-dryer. Empty since my wife passed. Stay there until you're on your feet. Cassie opened her mouth, closed it again. Accepting charity from a stranger felt like inviting judgment. I pay my own way, she murmured. Good, Arthur said. Rent me your opinion. She blinked. My what? Arthur leaned back. I recently funded a community health initiative, but the board is stacked with executives who've never missed a copay. I could use someone who's actually tangled with the system. Share your experiences. Flat blind spots. It'll make the program stronger and you'll draw a stipend. Cassie hesitated, heart pounding at the audacity of hope blooming inside her chest. You'd pay me to talk about what went wrong tonight? Exactly. She studied his face, searching for a catch. She saw grief, tempered by purpose, and maybe beneath it a wish to be useful again. Okay, she said finally, voice raspy, but only until Noah's healthy and my hours pick up. Arthur offered his hand again, sealing not a business deal this time, but a promise. The carriage house smelled of cedar and lemon polish. Lily dashed from room to room, squealing over a bunk bed, while Cassie placed Noah on a quilted sofa and marveled at the steady hum of a furnace she didn't have to feed quarters. Arthur lingered in the doorway, hesitant to intrude. Cassie turned, cheeks flushed from wonder and embarrassment. We'll take good care of it, she assured him. I know you will. He hesitated. The fridge is stocked, Mrs. Patel, my housekeeper, left a phone list, pediatrician, bus schedule, her own number. Call anyone anytime. Cassie felt tears prick again. She'd cried more in 24 hours than in the last 5 years combined. Why are you doing this? Arthur stared at the hardwood floor, then met her gaze. Before my wife Nora died, she dreamed of opening a free clinic on the South Side. She said no one should freeze while waiting on paper forms. I funded it, but I never stepped into the messy part. Real stories. Real lives. Tonight I heard Nora's voice in that parking lot. Cassie swallowed the lump forming in her throat. Then maybe she sent you. He smiled, sad, grateful, hopeful all at one, and stepped outside. Over the next week, the blizzard paralyzed the city, yet inside the carriage house, time thawed. Noah's cheeks pinked. Lily tackled homework at a proper table, and Cassie found herself sleeping more than 4 hours at a stretch for the first time in years. Twice a day, Arthur tramped across the snowy yard, presenting store-bought pies or puzzles he'd accidentally cover-ordered. Each visit was brief, polite, but Cassie noticed how his shoulders relaxed when Noah gurgled at him or Lily asked him to pronounce big words from her library books. On Friday afternoon, Arthur drove Cassie to the inaugural meeting of the Griffin Community Health Task Force. The boardroom buzzed with suits and jargon until Cassie spoke. She described Riverstone's locked doors, the frozen kiosk, the $2, zero demand. She spoke of Lily hiding in a library and Noah wheezing in a supply closet. When she finished, no one could meet her eyes. Arthur broke the silence. So we agree, no more kiosks. Human intake only. And emergency warmth stations at every clinic entrance. Heads nodded, pens scribbled, policies shifted. Afterward, Cassie found Arthur staring at a framed photograph of Nora, dark curls, laughing eyes hung near the conference exit. She looks like she made people feel seen, Cassie said. Arthur's voice was thick. She did. And you just did the same. 2 weeks later, Cassie's phone buzzed as she cleared a booth at the diner. Arthur's name lit the screen. Is everything okay? She asked, panic reflexive. Better than okay, he said. Medicaid reinstated. Effective immediately. Also, the task force stipend can't continue under temporary status. Her wants to draft you as community liaison, part-time with benefits. Cassie gripped the phone so hard her knuckles whitened. Benefits? Dental, vision, the works. You'd set clinic outreach calendars, advise on policy, and if you're willing, train new volunteers. Her knees wobbled. She sank onto a stool behind the host to stand. I'm a waitress with a GED, Arthur. And lived experience no Ivy League degree can replicate, he countered. She closed her eyes, picturing Lily practicing cartwheels in the carriage house yard. Noah sleeping without coughing fits. A future open like sunrise. Yes, she whispered, I'll do it. Spring. Chicago thawed. Budding trees dotted Hyde Park, and Cassie's life sprouted new routines: mornings at the task force, afternoons at the diner, no just 2 shifts a week for pocket cash and sworn loyalty to the owner who'd bent rules when she'd had nowhere to stash Noah. Evenings belonged to Lily's science projects and Arthur's porch chats over herbal tea. One Sunday, after Lily's piano recital, Arthur drove them along Lakeshore. Lily snoozed against the window, Noah snored in his car seat. And for the first time since meeting him, Cassie and Arthur were alone, truly alone. Arthur cleared his throat. I've learned more from you in 2 months than from 20 consultants in 20 years. Cassie laughed shy. All I did was tell the truth. That's harder than you think. People dress up truth so it won't embarrass the room. You served it raw and lives are changing. He paused, mine included. Night sparkled on the lake, street lamps flickering across water. Cassie, he began. Voice unsteady, I'm not a young man. I don't believe in fairy tales. But I believe in purposeful days and peaceful nights. And lately both of those are wrapped up in you and those kids. Her breath caught. She'd known affection was growing, but hearing it aloud felt like stepping onto a frozen pond, not sure if it would hold or shatter. Arthur, I'm grateful more than words, but life's been teaching me that gratitude can blur into dependence. And I can't risk losing myself again. He nodded slowly. Understood. The last thing I want is to clip your wings. So let's do this, keep flying. I'll be in the sky nearby. When you're tired, land. If you choose my branch, wonderful. If not, I'll still watch the horizon for your victories. Tears warmed her cheeks, unashamed. No one ever offered me space like that, love without leash. He smiled gently. Nora once told me love is a garden you tend. You water, but you don't yank the roots to see if they're growing. You just trust the sun. Cassie laughed through tears. Your wife was wise. She would have adored you, Arthur replied. They drove on in companionable silence, the kind that feels like music. Summer. The Griffin Free Clinic opened its doors with a neighborhood block party, tents of food, face painting, jazz trio playing under fluttering banners. Cassie cut the ribbon beside Arthur, Lily holding one end of the oversized scissors, Noah gnawing on the plastic handle. Reporters asked questions, cameras flashed, and Cassie told the truth again. Healthcare shouldn't depend on a plastic card scanning green. She said it loud enough that everyone from CEO to 7th grader could feel the weight of those words. That evening, after the crowd dispersed, Arthur found Cassie in the staff kitchen washing punch bowls. Without preamble, he produced a small weathered jewelry box. This was Nora's, he said. Inside lay a simple gold locket, no diamonds. Just elegant etching. She told me to pass it on when I met someone whose courage matched her own. Cassie stroked the locket's smooth face, heart fluttering. Arthur, no strings, he interrupted softly. Keep it, pawn it, pass it on someday, it's yours. I won't ask anything except the honor of watching, keep changing the world. She opened the locket. Inside, instead of a photo, lay a folded note in Nora's handwriting. Kindness is the only legacy that outlives the winter. Cassie's vision blurred. She replaced the note, clipped the chain around her neck, and looked at Arthur, this man who'd appeared like a lighthouse in her storm. She saw his steady kindness, the gentle tilt of his smile, the patient waiting in his eyes. I'm still learning how to trust spring, she whispered, fingers brushing the locket. But I'd like to plant something with you. Arthur's inhale was shaky, his exhale carried relief, wonder, and a happiness he hadn't thought possible. He offered his arm. Let's start with dinner, no policy talk, no crisis fixes, just a meal. Cassie slipped her arm through his. I'd like that. Autumn. Leaves blazed amber along the Hyde Park streets as Cassie, now officially Director of Community Engagement, walked to the clinic with Lily, proud junior volunteer, and Noah toddling beside her. Ahead, Arthur waited on the steps, holding hot chocolate for Lily, warm cider for Cassie, and a stuffed giraffe for Noah. As they approached, Lily asked, "Mama, is Mr. Griffin our family?" Cassie's answer came easier than she expected. "Family is who shows up when the night freezes over." She looked at Arthur, who smiled like sunrise, and added, "So yes, baby, he is." Lily grinned and sprinted forward. Arthur opened his arms, bracing for the running hug. Noah squealed, "Giraffe forgotten." Cassie watched them collide in a tangle of cocoa and laughter, and felt the locket warm against her heart. Life's winter hadn't vanished, cold days would come again, but tonight, Chicago's wind sounded less like a freight train and more like a distant horror, singeing that kindness once planted blooms all year long.